Hello, d00mbr0s. Welcome to our interview for Espor'a colleague. So, how are you today?
I'm good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine also. I'm really excited to do my interview with you. I have really nice questions for you today.
All right.
So, if you wish, I can start with the questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, d00mbr0s, how did your esports career start?
So basically, my esports career started like recently, about 2 years ago. Before that, I worked at a graveyard for about 7 years, like doing burials and gardening and stuff. So I was like way away from esports. But I have a twin brother who was into esports. He was a player in Overwatch and doing all kinds of fun stuff. I got to travel. So in my mind, I was like, yeah, this is something I want to do. So as soon as Valorant got announced, I started grinding the game. I started learning like how to be an analyst, how to be a coach, and then just worked hard every day. And that's kind of how I started. Just been going like this, and then just straight up for me. So I'm a very lucky guy, but yeah, I'm super new in the scene, and I just worked hard, and I landed the job, and that's it. Like pretty boring, but that's the
Yeah.
story.
And so from the first started, you started as a more like an analytics part
Yeah,
rather than a player.
exactly.
Yeah, so that was what you dreamed of, what you objected, or
I think, yeah, for me, I'm always done coding, analytical stuff on the side. I study system developments at a university before working at the graveyard, so it's something I already knew. I knew I could do better than some people, you know. So that's what I delved super deep into, and I started as an analyst for FunPlus Phoenix, and then about a year in, they promoted me to the head coach. So I think in their mind they saw that I had potential, but I needed some more experience and some more time to grow, and I could kind of grow into that role from being an analyst to a head coach, you know. But for me, I was just having an open mind. I didn't really have an objective in mind. Yes, I want to be a head coach. I just want to work with teams in esport and do whatever is needed. So a head coach was needed for FunPlus Phoenix, and I took it. So that's it.
yeah, and again, it's pretty visible your success. Your latest championship, the Valorant Clash, you won the final. Again, I want to congratulate you and the team.
Thank you, thank you.
So, if you want, I can move on to the next
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
Okay, so d00mbr0s, what are your thoughts on recent agent rebalancing, and what kind of changes do you expect in the agent preferences of the teams after these new changes?
So obviously the chamber will be less played. I think a lot of teams made roster decisions based on having a strong chamber player, and traditional roles like a jet player or a sentinel player like Killjoy and Cypher kind of was moved to the side. So I think now after this patch, people will realize maybe their teams are a bit wrongly built, or they will go back to playing more Killjoy, playing more jet. And I think that's the main change that it's going to be on most maps, you know. I think it's just going to take a step back, and the meta's going to be more how it was in 2021, for example. And that fits us, you know. I think we will benefit from it. We have seen it. He's the best jet in the world, right?
Yeah.
We have to get to. He loves playing Killjoy, Cypher, you know. So I think we will move more to traditional roles that we like, and some other teams that's been relying on a chamber to get all the kills will struggle. So I think that's the main change for sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. So the next question is, can we get your thoughts on removing the bind and breeze maps and replacing them with split?
My initial reaction is happiness, and I thank the heavens for it. You know, it's bind for me is a map I dislike personally, just because there is no middle part of a map, so the map is very binary, like A or B. So the strategical diversity is very lackluster on that map. And for me as a coach, I want a map which kind of gives me more options than bind. So bind I always disliked, and I'm happy for it. For breeze, I'm not sure if it was the best direction to go, but to be honest, Breeze was also kind of stale. I think I'm pretty vocal about it. That Split is my favorite map in the game. I was super depressed when it got removed, and then now I'm super happy again. Like, I think Split is an amazing map. I think it has good macro, good strategical depth. You can anti-strat teams pretty easy on it, and like come with different comps. So I think them bringing back Split is a blessing. Like, I really like it. So, like, big thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay. d00mbr0s, my next question is about again the G-Loot Valorant clash. So recently, as everyone knows, you became the champion of the G-Loot Valorant clash. And can you evaluate the tournament from your point of view? How did you find your final opponent, Parla Esports?
All right. So the tournament for us, it was more of practice run and getting things going, you know, like playing your first tournament as a new team. Like, even though we only switched CNED, he's still new. He still needs to learn everyone in the team. You know, how do we do scouting? How do we do preparation and all of that? But obviously there's going to be some bad things and some good things. But I think from my point of view, we did okay. I think we could have done better. But at the same time, our final opponent, Parla Esports, they were really strong. Like, I think out of all teams we faced, like, they were, like, both, like, strategically and, like, kill and aim-wise, they were really, really, really good. Like, I think they surprised, like, the whole region with how good they played. I also want to say, I know they had some internet issues when we played them, and that really sucks for them, because maybe the outcome would have been different if they didn't, like, have high ping in the server. So I really feel for them. But at the same time, you know, I think it was a good match. I think they deserve more praise, you know, especially the player like Lores, for example. I'm a big fan of Lores. I've always been, like, these years. So in my mind, I just hope these players, like, find a spot in the franchise teams, you know, because I think they were that good. Like, they had really good sets, like set retakes, defaults, ideas on how they wanted to play. So yeah, I was really impressed. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your thoughts about the tournament. So, d00mbr0s, going back to the first days when you started esports, what would you say to yourself during the first steps of your career or before you started? Like, couple advices to yourself before you were in this journey.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing, like the first thing I would say is, like, enjoy the journey and the process to the goal. You know, like, everyone in this scene, like, you want to reach a certain goal up here. But what I learned is, once you reach that goal, then you still have to keep on working and do what you do, you know. So just enjoying the process of going to that goal and enjoying your everyday work is much more important than thinking that I need to achieve this, and then I will be happy, you know. So what I would tell myself back then is, try to be happy in the moment, try to make your work enjoyable every day, and that's more worth than just thinking about, yeah, I need to win this tournament and then I will be happy. So I think that's an important thing that I would want to tell myself. The second thing is, don't worry what others think. I'm sure you can see under my eyes, but take more breaks. Don't overwork yourself.
Yeah.
I don't follow this advice still, but take breaks, you know. It's important.
Yeah. Thank you, d00mbr0s. So, going to our next question. So, as you know, recently, and you mentioned already, CNED joined the roster. So, you're a team that has been playing together for a long time, and CNED has joined your roster. Can you evaluate this situation for us? What kind of player is CNED, and what distinguishes him from other players?
Yeah, so obviously CNED is a different player than what we are used to. You know, we've always been more of calm players who play a lot of strategical depth and not so much like aggression and impulsive play style. But bringing in CNED, he's probably one of the best, like, duelist players we are, you know, and his instinct is, like, the best in the world. So a change we had to do is kind of trusting CNED's instincts and what he wants to do on the map. and kind of adapting around that. And it's something that we're learning like every day, like how does CNED function, how when is he comfortable, and how can we kind of elevate everything he wants to do to the max. So obviously the communication is also a bit different than what we're used to with artists, but I think that will just get better with time. What distinguishes him from other players, I would say, like people don't know it, but he's very kind and humble. Like he's a superstar that's also super kind. Like if we tell him to do something, he will do it, you know. And that's like a trait that not many superstars have, and I think that's very unique with him.
Yeah.
But he's very humble, he's very kind, and he's also so good, you know. It's very unique. I think that answers your question, I hope.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. So, d00mbr0s, can you evaluate your one day, like your daily routine?
Yeah. All right. So I think it's different for everyone, but working as a coach in esports can be a bit brutal. I usually wake up, eat some breakfast, and then have some meetings. Have a strat meeting with my assistant coach Latex and with Angel, and then we do our team practice, maybe around 7 or 8 hours depending. And then after that, a little break, get some food to eat. It's in the evening, and then have a around 2 hour strat session with Latex again, planning for the next day. And then it's super late in the evening, I go to the gym, and then go to bed, and then you just repeat. So you're basically having around, I don't know, 12-hour days, like maybe a bit more. But that's just the life of a coach. So that's how it should be.
Yeah. Thank you. And I have one last question for you, d00mbr0s. So, how would you describe the players? What differs them? For example, who sleeps the most and who's the most disciplined in the team?
Oh yeah. So I would say, just going like down the list, I would say Angel. He's basically Mr. Confidence, you know? It doesn't matter what he does, what he thinks, he just does everything with confidence. It's amazing. Like if he wants to play a really bad comp or some Euro, he's gonna tell you that, but in so much confidence that you just believe him 100%, you know? And then Latex, I would say it's my assistant coach or our sixth player, right? Who can also do strats. But basically, he's the Einstein, you know. He's the brain power in our team, I would say, if I would describe him. Um, he's probably the smartest person I know. Xiao, he would be, for me, people would say he's like the best clutcher. I would say he's the best flex player. He can play everything in the game to a super high level. Doesn't matter what he plays, he will just do it. So Getsu, I would say he's the EU tens. He's the best aimer, I think, in the game. He obsessed about his aim, but I think legit him and tens probably has the best raw aim in the game. So I always said he's EU tens, but with more brains. CNED, he's the humble superstar. Like I said before, he's really good. But at the same time, he's just very kind. He doesn't, showboat. He doesn't become angry. He's just like a very humble superstar.
Yeah.
And Sipan, I would say, he's the machine. He's always consistent, not a lot of emotion. He's like just, yeah, I will do this. Yeah, nothing, no emotions at all. Just shoot, aim at the head, and you can always trust him. And I think I think I described everyone in the team pretty good there.
Yeah,
So.
that was a pretty good explanation. So, d00mbr0s, that was all of the questions for you. Thank you again for being with us. Thank you for joining us today. And last but not least, is there anything you want to say to the Turkish fans currently watching this video?
Keep sharing for us. We have seen it now, so I hope you're on our side. We all love the Turkish community. You're probably the most passionate fans we are. When I went to Turkey, I had an amazing time, like meeting everyone and just seeing the city and the culture and everything. So yeah, keep cheering for us, and I'm cheering for you guys too. So
thank you so much again, d00mbr0s.
Yeah,
I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.
Yeah, have a nice day. Thank you.
Yeah.